I think we've got a great example of that coming up this weekend with Kamaru Usman versus Masvidal 2. And I'm pretty sure that's what anyone and everyone can talk about. Like two fantastic athletes. If I think if once you've witnessed fighting for a while, you can't not like Masvidal. No matter how trashy or obnoxious he is, he backs it up at the end of the day. He shows up. He doesn't make excuses. It's one of the reasons I really respect what he did. He took the first fight on 6 days' notice, showed up, and it still went to decision. Like I genuinely felt that if there's any chance where Usman could have knocked Masvidal out and made an example out of him, that was the time. But now you've got an angrier and a more determined Usman who doesn't just want to beat Masvidal, he wants to finish Masvidal. And clearly, after what he did to Gilbert Burns, his own teammate, and seeing that he had little to no remorse after that, I'm pretty scared for whoever stands across the octagon from him. And I'm just curious to see what your take on that fight and that matchup is. How much of a difference do you think this makes, the situation as a whole?
And in this case, there's two ways to look at it. Okay, Maru says that Masvidal had an inbuilt excuse in his words. But as somebody that's taken fights on short notice, let me tell you that it is not easy to do that, especially against a guy like Kamaru Usman, who is in every sense of the word the Nigerian nightmare. When you're looking across the cage from him, I've seen him only from a certain camera angle, but I can only imagine how it must be to look into his eyes as the person he's about to fight. And that must be some scary shit. So props to Masvidal for getting on a plane on 6 days' notice, cutting 20 fucking pounds, dude. That's no joke. Cutting 20 pounds and fighting on 6 days' notice, and taking Usman the 5 rounds, taking him 5 rounds and making Usman work, because he stuffed almost 8 takedown attempts. That's unheard of against a guy like Usman. Even Tyron Woodley couldn't do that. And Tyron Woodley's got you put yourself on mute. And Tyron Woodley has a storied wrestling career, right? He couldn't defend those takedowns. So what it is with and on the other hand with Usman now, Usman has had a full training camp dedicated to beating a person with the style of Masvidal. Right? Masvidal's striking is definitely more scary than Gilbert Burns' striking ever was, or ever could be, because he's just had that many more fights in the octagon, and he's had that many more striking exchanges with some of the highest level strikers in the sport. He's a guy that knocked out Darren Till. Right? He's a guy that got knocked down by Darren Till and knocked him out later in that fight. He's a guy that made beating Donald Cerrone look almost and I love Donald Cerrone, and it's very hard for me to say that about him. But he lost pretty badly to Masvidal. Right? This was when Masvidal wasn't even in his prime. Masvidal's just come into his stride right now. So when I see these two match up, I think that they have been preparing for each other for years. Even when the Gilbert Burns fight fell through the first time and Masvidal stepped in, it was I think it was fate that had to set up something bigger. And here we are today, and they fight on Sunday morning.
And in one sense of it,
No, sorry. One more thing. All we can really expect is absolute fireworks from these two, because both of them have this little fire under their asses. They knew it wasn't over. They knew the beef wasn't over, and they knew that the fight was not over back then. Even though Usman beat him over a course of 5 rounds, both of them looked at each other in the eyes and knew that it wasn't over. Right? So they knew something else was coming.
I just agree. I agree with that. In the sense that I think I think you can either stand testament to this, or chip in your 2 cents on this sort of point. I also genuinely believe that Jorge Masvidal's fight IQ in general is really, really sharp, right? But on the other hand, you've got someone like Usman who people normally thought that he's a wrestler, that he's going to go in for the takedown attempts. But I think over his past couple of fights, he's really shown that especially in the Kobe fight, that his stand-up has been improving fight after fight, and now he's just becoming deadly in every aspect as a fighter, you know, like in the sense that he took Kobe Covington for like the entire 5 rounds with, you know, predominantly stand up. And then after that, Gilbert Burns, like he didn't really bother wrestling him that much, just, you know, kind of just knocked him down, finished him over there. So, you know, I think with this fire that he has, I really want to see a knockout. Not gonna lie, as a fan, I really just want to see a knockout. I want to see war, right? Don't get me wrong. I'd be completely satisfied with, you know, a more technical fight, and I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to go. I think both these guys are that they're really smart to not do anything brash or, you know, take each other for granted. So I don't know if I'm going to be getting that knockout that I want to see, but you know, one can only hope, man.
Yeah, I mean, I have to disagree with that because I think that both these guys have this genuine animosity with each other. You saw that genuine animosity with between Usman and Covington as well. People who genuinely didn't like each other, and today you see it with Masvidal as well. So Kamaru Usman is 6-0 against ATT fighters. He's Mike Brown's worst nightmare. And one thing I do want to say is that Kamaru Usman's striking has come a long, long way because when he was working at Hard Knocks 360 and Sanford MMA, as it's now known, in Florida, he was working with a striking coach in Henry who is an absolute visionary because he makes these people he makes his fighters do simple shit. He doesn't make them do long combinations, long Floyd Mayweather like boxing combinations. He makes them do simple shit, ones and twos and meaty hooks and changing angles and small things like that. And now Usman's working with this amazing coach in Trevor Whitman, who's Justin Gaethje's coach, who's Rose Namajunas' coach, and that has such a crazy mind for MMA. So he's just sharpening whatever tools Kamaru Usman already had and had gained with Henry Hooft. So you see Usman, you see the best version of Usman every time he comes out into a fight, and we saw him for the first time working under Trevor Whitman, making absolute mincemeat of who I think is, after Usman, the best fighter in that welterweight division, Gilbert Burns. He made that fight look easy. Besides getting knocked down in the first round, he made that fight look extremely easy. So I think that Usman takes this fight, and I think that he finishes Masvidal in the third round, or if he doesn't, then it goes the entire 5 rounds. But I do think that we're going to see finish from one or the other side.
And if anything, I think the reason I'm so invested in this is because I think we're both aware of Kamaru Usman's story. It's incredible what this man has been through. When you see such a story, it's you're just inspired. I'm at a loss for words when you listen to what this man has been through. And I think I just want to take this moment to say, as fans, I'm personally just so thrilled for this man because he gets to have his father watch him fight in the octagon for the first time in front of a full capacity crowd. I don't know, man. That's the kind of thing that makes me tear up because I don't know, man. I don't know if Usman wins, I might probably break down because that's how crazy this fight's going to be. That's how much is riding on this fight. That's how much this man wants to win.